Hey retro food fans, today we are going back to 1975 and I am finally going to talk about the vegetarian movement. Don't worry, you're going to love it. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Jill and this is Yester Kitchen. Part food history, part cooking, all delicious. Thank you so much for being here. So today we are talking all vegetarian. Yeah, I know. I mean, believe me, I am a huge carnivore, but you gotta love the Meatless Mondays, which by the way, has nothing to do with our retro world because Meatless Monday was coined in 2003 by a marketing genius. And yeah, genius, because look how long it's stuck. So today's recipe comes from a cookbook that was made by a newspaper. This is Your Good Neighbor Cookbook from November 1975, and it comes from the Star News, which was in Chula Vista, California, which is pretty close to San Diego. And they used, it doesn't exist anymore, pretty sad about that. But as you can see, it's a regular newspaper. I mean, all the newspaper ads are in there, but all the recipes are here. And what they did was they had all their readers submit recipes, and the winners would make it into the cookbook. And while this was not a first place winner, they had a whole section on meatless options, and I fell in love with this thing. It's really different, but it's really good. Trust me. Today we're gonna make something called chili and cheese bake, and it is pure gold. Chili, which means chili peppers, and all kinds of cheese, and it's all kinds of good. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put our oven on 350, and then in our pot, we're gonna melt 2 tablespoons of butter. And once you get that going, which mine's really soft, as you can see, it's going immediately. You're gonna add 1 medium onion, which I chopped up pretty well. And in it goes. I am absolutely in love with the smell of cooking butter. I think my heat's on a little too high. And then when you drop onions into it, oh my God, it smells so good. So we are gonna let this go for a few because you want these onions to really cook down and get translucent. So the vegetarian movement, how did it get started? Well, we're gonna go a little bit back in time. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, meat was really not consumed a whole lot. There were issues like transportation, refrigeration, so it just wasn't very commonplace. Now 1900 to 1960, all of a sudden meat consumption skyrocketed. Why? For the same reasons. All of a sudden we had trains that will take the meats across the country, and we had we're really getting good at refrigeration so we can keep that meat nice and safe while it got to the consumer. And then in 1971, a little book came out called Diet for a Small Planet. And that was credited for the launching of the vegetarian movement, which took off. We were just coming out of the 60s, so we had a lot of people that were very, very in tune with the earth and with eating better, and so it was just a natural, like, ta-da kind of thing. So from there came vegetarian books, vegetarian cookbooks, vegetarian magazines, all kinds of vegetarian cooking, vegetarian restaurants. We can thank Alice Waters for that. And it's just a huge, huge explosion, and people said, hey, I just want my diet to be vegetarian, which is great. That's why we have so many options. We all make our choices. So in our retro world, well, I was looking for a recipe that was just looked fun and different it is. And it's kind of like a tomato custard, corn chip, cheesy kind of thing. So it has a little bit of a Mexican influence, but it's very Americanized. So we're gonna let these onions cook down. It's probably gonna take another 5 or 8 minutes. Okay, so our onions are cooked down. Take a look. And this is just where you want them, just translucent and soft, and they're soaked up all that delicious butter. Now to that, we're gonna add 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, right from the market. And then, these things bring back so many memories. 1 can of diced green chilies. These guys, straight up in the can. I know we have so many chili choices now, but this product was actually huge in the 70s, and I had it so often when I was a little girl, so this is a very special place in my heart. So you're going to want 1 4-ounce can of chopped chilies. Get them all. Uh-oh, they're not all out yet. Sometimes I like to stick to the can. And then you're going to simmer this for 5 minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes and everyone's been to the party, they've been dancing, they've been having a good time, and they're all mixed together. Take a look. Now what I did was I took it off the heat. You'll see why in a second. But as you can see, everything is all mixed together and it just looks delicious. So now what we're gonna do, let me get this out of the way for a second, and we're gonna bring in 1 cup of half and half. Now I put it in a 2-cup measuring cup for a reason. So here's our 1 cup of half and half. Now you need 2 eggs, and you're gonna just break them right into the half and half, and you're gonna whisk it together. Okay, so you wanna just get this really, really well incorporated, which is why I use a larger measuring cup. So I can just mix it and pour it. Okay, so there we go. Now we're gonna bring back our sauce. And I'm gonna do a little thing called tempering. You take a little bit, you're getting the cold milk up to temperature for the sauce so the eggs don't start to scramble. They probably won't, but let's just do this to be safe. So you take a little bit of the sauce, you put it in, and just mix it in there, and then pour it right into the rest of the sauce. And then you're just gonna start stirring. And this is gonna form your custard-like layer. Yes, layers. This is a layered dish. Vegetarian cooking is fabulous. It is not boring. It is not bland. As a matter of fact, as much as I love meat, I don't eat meat 7 days a week. I probably go meatless about 2 days a week. And it's just endless possibilities. And you have such fresh ingredients to work with. So I love vegetarian cooking, and I'll probably do some more recipes from our 1970s vegetarian movement because it's fun, but you let me know if you want to see some more. Okay, so now we have our sauce. So now we're gonna start our layering. I'm gonna get this out of the way, and I have this gorgeous 1970s pan, which is well greased. I use canola oil spray. You can use whatever you like. Okay, and I've got 2 more things. I have an 8-ounce block of Monterey Jack cheese that I cut in little cubes. This is the recipe. If you want to use shredded, you can get away with it, but when you use cube cheese, you get little pockets of cheese. How bad is that? Not at all. So let's go with the little pockets of cheese. So we got that. And now the recipe calls for 11 ounces of corn chips. I have my favorite. They just seem to stand up really well, but if you have any other corn chips, feel free to use them. Now we're gonna take half of our corn chips and put them in there. And if you're one of these fans, here's one of my favorite dishes from when I grew up, the 1980s taco salad. Oh my God, using these, so good. Back to the casserole. Okay, so we have 1 layer of that. Then we're gonna take half of our sauce and pour it on top. And now we take half of our Monterey Jack cheese, our little pockets of cheese. Oh, great. I'm telling you, kids will love it. It's so different. Now, you go again. And you finish off with the rest of these. Now this I'm going to switch it up because you want to end with the sauce. And you put your little Monterey Jack all over the top. And by the way, this is a 1.5 quart casserole dish, which will work perfectly. And then on top goes the remainder of your sauce. See, I told you I won't steer you wrong. This is fabulous. Okay, now you're gonna take 1 cup of sour cream and you're just gonna kind of spoon it on everywhere. Just kind of layering it on. It doesn't have to cover absolutely everything, but you wanna just kind of spread it out a little bit. Oh God. You guys, it smells so good in here. Okay, this is good. This is lovely. And the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a 1/2 cup, now you can use shredded cheddar cheese, because yes, the recipe specified shredded here and cubed there, and I always do the recipe. So, or else you can't really get into the history if you're not doing exactly what the cook intended. And the very last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of paprika on top, just for a little color. Look at that! Does that look the best or what? Okay, now this pretty little dish is gonna go into our 350 oven for 30 minutes. It's done. Take a look. It is gorgeous. It is crunchy, it is cheesy, it's really a different dish that's just delicious. And yeah, you can go meatless every now and then. So let's take a look at this thing. As a matter of fact, because we're celebrating the vegetarian movement, I brought out one of my favorite plates. Look at that, it's so cute. Okay, so let's push this out of the way a little bit. It is super hot. Let's get in here. Oh my goodness, look at that. See, you've got your layers, you've got your pockets of cheese. It's fabulous. Everything is just mixed in and it's just all kinds of wonderful. So thank you home cooks out there who have been submitting your recipes for years, because you never know what you're gonna find. And I love when you share your food memories with me. They mean so much. I love just reading about how everybody grew up and all the different food history that everyone has. Because remember, food, one of our biggest memory triggers, and make us so happy. If you would like to explore more dishes from your childhood or just the past, I invite you to subscribe. I release new videos every Friday. In the meantime, here's some more retro dishes for you. And remember, every dish, even 1975 chili and cheese bake, has a story. I'll see you in the next video.